I've been very fortunate to have quite a large number of people influence my life in a positive direction, but none of them influenced me more as a poet than did Carlos Ashley. He was a Poet Laureate of Texas. He was in the state legislature. He was a great attorney and a great district attorney. Most of all, he was a grand gentleman, and I'm proud to have called him friend. I want to do one of his poems called The Widder. It gets kind of lonesome out on the divide with never a woman around. So about twice a year, I saddle old Belle and ride down the canyon to town. I've been sort of courting a widder down there, though I ain't never out and proposed. We've been a maneuvering and sparring around, and we had the deal just about closed. Of course, a man must be cautious where women's concerned. It's a trail over mighty thin ice. I've been living single for 52 years, and the widder, she's been married twice. These females is mighty peculiar at times and awful deceitful to figure. The things that seem little before you get hitched, next morning may look a heap bigger. So I've been debating this matter since fall, which in fact was the last time I seen her. But the sap started rising right early this spring, and the grass and the trees all look greener than I could remember since I was a kid. And the bluebonnets bigger and bluer, and the reasons for living out here all alone seem to fade and grow fewer and fewer. The trail down the canyon seemed smoother that day, and the mockingbirds sang a lot louder. It might have been me or the moon being full, or the smell of her perfume and powder, and it could be her cookies that lulled me to sleep. Them was wonderful biscuits and pies, or her tender melodious voice as she sang with a heavenly light in her eyes. Whatever it was, it sure done the job. I was just getting ready to ask her when all of a sudden the front doorbell rang. And who do you reckon? The pastor. Maybe I'm too suspicious of women folks' ways, but I sure know a church by its steeple. And I know every preacher on top side of earth is dead set on marrying people. The sight of that feller gave me a cold chill. My pulse took to jumping and pounding, him sisterin' and brotherin' all over the place. I felt like a fact, like I was drowning. My heart turned to cat when that parson walked in. The sweat started wilting my collar. That room was a furnace plumb baking my brain, and I knowed I was going to holler. I was just getting set for one desperate lunge for my hat across the room on the dresser, when the voice of an angel come out of the night. Old Blue was a nickerin', God bless her. I lied to that widder. My horse wasn't fed. Oh, the air was a tonic outside. I rode all that night and I didn't slow down till I got back out on the divide. I reckon I'll stay here the rest of my days. I ain't going back into town. I'll take mine a batchin' and pamperin' old Belle. We don't need no woman around.